download from Triple J.
For more music, current affairs, comedy and culture, triplej.net.au.
And now...
Triple J's Hip Hop Show.
Yes, the Triple J Hip Hop Show. You just heard a tune from a man, Drapht, with a song called Jimmy Ricard, which is the first single from the album called Brothers Grimm, which drops this Saturday, May 17th. So if you dig that, go out and buy it. Hopefully on the phone, if I'm doing this right. Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. You know, it's real weird because it sounds like you're in the studio, but you're actually in Perth.
Yeah, I am actually.
It's like talking to a ghost or something.
The power rider 3 hours behind, y'all.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, I have the one and only Drapht out of Perth. How you doing tonight, man?
Good, sir. Good, sir.
That's good. That's the way. So, I'm going to open up with a question that I ask a lot of people. The question is, what was your first introduction to hip-hop?
Actually, I wasn't even a big fan of hip-hop growing up. Well, I was, but this was the time when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and my dad, you know, he's been in the music game for years and years on end, so
Right.
The first introduction for me was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5.
With the message?
Of course. What else, my friend? What else?
And how?
But yeah, he used to crank that around the house, and you know.
Really? Your old man played that song?
Yeah,
Wow.
a lot, and he still got that record, you know.
Yeah. He must have been.
Song.
Was he quite young at that time?
He was in his early 30s.
Right. I mean, that's a
He loves his world.
that's a great bringing up right there. So you're in Perth. How is Perth, like the scene? How is the Perth scene at the moment?
Yeah, it's good, bro. Like, you know, we got a few new things coming up. We're working on a Syllabolics album as we speak. Downside have a new album out.
Yes.
Or coming out anyway. Layla's working on some new stuff. Hunter's working on some new stuff. So
Yeah.
going strong, bro. Going strong.
Cool. 'Cause that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, how did that relationship between yourself and the Syllabolics crew happen?
I actually went to school with Army and Hunter. So yeah,
that would have been a good year.
we weren't in the same year, but you know, hung out with the same sort of crew. But yeah, like you know, they were good years. And there was a place in Perth called the High Park Hotel, as you would know how.
Yes, the infamous High Park Hotel.
Yeah. And I, you know, being 17 and being within the Drapht community, I used to try sneak in there every Monday. And yeah, I kind of stumbled across Optimus and Disaster and Shabazz, and you know, the friendship started from there.
Cool. So it's been 3 years since the release of your last album, Who Might?
3 very long years.
Yes. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that. How do you feel you've grown since then?
Well,
or have you?
I have, obviously. Well, I don't know. I kind of wanted to take a year off because I just kind of felt a lot of pressure after Who Am I?
Right.
But yeah, well, as an artist, I think I've grown a lot, just from diversity and, you know, the way that I pronounce my words. And I really thought the last album didn't slow it down as much as I should have. You know, not every word was taken in, and that's what I really wanted to do with this album, just be as clear as possible and and get known for every single word that I say. I want people to understand.
You give the breather to the listener, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, you just have to wait for the record to check it out, then.
Yeah, man. I gotta ask you about that, man. I haven't got the album yet. There's something fishy happening here, like.
A very, very long story. Well, we've already exceeded a couple of release dates, but you know, I've working with Trials from Adelaide. He's the beat king in Australia, and I've had to fly over there a couple of times just to mix, and it's hard. It's harder than we thought it was going to be, but you know, it's done now, and it's going to press probably over the next day or so, and it's finally going to be out. It's going to be a weight off my shoulders, that's for sure.
Yes. Now tell me, man, is it really that boring being Paul Ridge? That, you know, like. That's a strong Christian name, Paul, man.
Well, exactly. My point proven right there, my friend. I always had the idea in my head, like, you know, I think a name does a lot for a character and where you go in life, and I always kind of had in the back of my head, I didn't really like my name because, you know, Paul is like so plain old, so bland, and it's just so common. So I really wanted to put a little spin on the record, and it was a positive track on the record because a lot of my stuff kind of feeds from negative sort of ideas. And
right. And of course, we're talking about the new single, Jimmy Ricard. If the listeners weren't hip to that, where did that name come from? Is that like being your alias when you go to clubs and to hotels and that, or is that something you just made up for the song?
It actually will be now, but I was thinking of successful names, so I jumped on the net and actually googled successful names and came up with
Really?
James. Yeah, 100%. I came up with James and Ricard, so I changed James to Jimmy, and used Ricard as the last name.
And of course, you've touched on it before. The single was produced by the Franco's man himself, Mr. Trials. How did that relationship come about?
I was actually, you were actually there. We were over in Adelaide doing the Blue Blooded track for the Hilltop Hood.
Yes.
And we were all going out one night, and we went through Sester's house, and Charles was playing me a bit of the new Funkcore stuff and a bit of the new Vent stuff. And it was just, I really loved every single track that he played me. So later on that night, I kind of pulled him aside and put the idea across to him, because I always really wanted to work with I wasn't actually going to do another Drapht record. I wanted to start from scratch and just bring out a banging record with under a new alias and more of a crew sort of thing, like, you know, Atmosphere or Danger Doom Trials actually came up with the name Brothers Grimm. So
yeah. So the title for the album, Brothers Grimm, that refers to you two both, or is it?
Yeah.
And he handles most of the production?
85% of the production is handled by Trials. I've got some other people on the production, like Plutonic Labs, M Phases.
M Phases, the man of the moment.
Yes, definitely, and Simplex from Terra Firma as well.
Of course, got to have the family on there. I hear that Trials lives on like space food sticks and champagne, like in the studio. Is that true?
Well, he doesn't even have a studio anymore. We work from Reflux's studio. Charles, when I was actually staying with Charles at his original place, there was just, you know, it was a bit of a dive. I don't want to diss my man or anything, but, you know, he's a
bit of a dive.
I'll give you a secret right here. Charles is a big cat lover.
Oh, my God.
Just think of cat feces, and that kind of explains it all. So we moved to Reflux's studio and got the business done.
Right. Now, you have a particular style that many would call quite melodic, and I understand that you've received criticism over the years for it, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that? Because I know a lot of people think, you know, if they have singing or some sort of harmony on a song, they think that's soft, or, you know, it's not hard enough. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't blame people for the criticism that I've got, because I've always, coming from Power Rider and going to Who Am I totally expected that, and it wasn't a change where I thought, you know, well, what's the fans going to think? It's actually a change that I wanted to do for listening purposes and live purposes, and, you know, I expected the whole thing, and it's all about the music to me, and you know,
at the end of the day, you yourself have to be happy.
Exactly.
So, do you feel that you've laid down on your new album everything you've